Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well today. It's pretty nice. I love spring. It starts to get warm. Every morning I wake up and I hear all the birds chirping, so just lovely. I love summer. It's really nice to be outside. Plus, you can just, get some vitamin D and feel refreshed. Everyone looks nice with a little tan. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about something I was thinking about how people ground themselves in life or disconnect. But one thing, I bought this cute little book. Look at this. So it's a question a day, right? Like to get to know someone, like a friend or something like that. But it's like a 3 year journal in a sense. You just open it up and it'll have the date and then it'll say like, I made someone laugh when right? So you can like get to know someone with I don't know, just questions. It's really cute. It was just something cheap. I saw it and I was like, oh, what a good journal. So went ahead and got that. It's always nice to connect with people and, get to know them. There's things about people you don't know unless you ask or they share with you. So, all right. Anyway, so, okay, something I was thinking about um, in life because if you think about how life works, when animals are born, you know, um, a whale or whatnot, they just come out of the womb. The babies are already doing what they should do. They're already oriented, right, in life. They come out walking, swimming, right, whatever it is. So the thing about humans, I was thinking about how we operate. We have the same, we're very similar to animals, except humans have to find and locate. They have to put effort into orienting their self. Animals, it just comes natural, right? Whatever their path is, their point in life, right? Whatever their obstacle is, right? Or whatever their mission is, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Like whatever they're meant to do, right? So an animal could, meant to climb, to get to the top of the trees, to eat those top leaves or whatnot, right? They can do that easily growing through life without having to locate and orient that themselves. Okay, in the sense of this, for humans, it's more difficult. In order for us to find our path, our God given path, or to orient our mind and soul, okay, together, because technically they're separate, you have to, put those together, which is the wholeness of self, the dark and the light of yourself, like traumas and all that, right? So when you do that, that like orients you. You're a whole person, a whole being, right? Your soul. Okay. So you're connecting with your inner God. So animals orient themselves. They come out of the womb climbing, walking, whatnot. But humans have to find themselves, okay, with your soul. You have to find who you are when you do that shadow work and you come to union of self. That's your soul. So the challenge of humans, everyone has that mission in life. You must come to that orientation of yourself. It's very possible. It's very achievable. It just takes effort, right? It just takes meditation, listening to your intuition, when you feel something, honing into that more. A lot of people just push off their intuition or push off thoughts they have and they just override with their satisfaction or whatever. They don't listen to those things and that really can get you in trouble. That is you disorienting with yourself. Okay, that's the opposite of what you should do. So just keep that in mind, because really, you are the way, you are the light. If no one changes your life, that's because you change your life, right? Your life isn't going to change out of your situation if you don't like it unless you do that. You're not going to get to a higher achievement in life unless you do that, So you are in control of your life. You are the way, you are the light. And that's the wholeness when you bring that together is really what gets you to that point. Nothing happens in a day. Rome was not built in a day. So just keep that in mind. So the other thing is, I feel like, unfortunately, The world doesn't want the population to orient themselves. They don't. Because if they promoted that, if they wanted people to have wholeness and happiness, then they would promote things that would allow time or education, knowledge, and impact for the one self. But they don't. And, the reason why they don't do that is because when people do come into union with herself, it's more wisdom, knowledge. It's almost like clairvoyance, okay? I could tell you is because it's not really clairvoyance. It's been there the whole time. You just haven't been listening to it. And that's the whole reason why they push us away from that. Because think about a population or the world that would be knowledgeable, that would be skillful, right? I'm not talking about just work skills. I'm talking about mental skills. They're capable of, distinguishing, things in life, you know? There would be no chance for the government to mislead people or for health sectors or financial sectors to lead people down the wrong path because the population would be too intellectually sound in order to allow that to happen. Do you see what I mean? So, orienting, getting yourself oriented in life, right? And I know I've talked about it several times, but that's because that's the first step to even getting to any of the other things is just to work on that. And the more you do, I mean, it can be years in the works, and that's fine. But it's how much work you put in is how much you will get out of it. So, obviously, I feel like they do distract us. The world does give you things. We are living in the Garden of Eden. You are tempted in everything with things daily, constant things, so that you're pulled away from the oneness of self for you to orient yourself. Okay, because when animals get oriented to the ground, to the vibrations of life easily, but humans do not. We have so many things that are interfering and fluctuating with our vibrating frequency every day that it is difficult for people. They just push it off. They just keep going. They have instant gratification. They push their self away from it, although society does as well. So you almost have things working against you at all times. It's like once you break through that and you're like, no, I'm going to work on this, and then you see that your path is, yes, probably a little different, but it's also internally happy. Your heart, it feels full. Your heart feels happy, and you are hopeful about other things that maybe once you were not. So, you know, just keep that in mind. You know, the thing is also back in the day, okay, like in the Bible, it even says that God created Adam and then he named them he them. Okay, I think that's what he said. He them, right? So the thing is, there's no I in that, okay? Because when people started taking on the way, like how I see myself, that's me. I'm putting myself in my own category, and that's where the world started to go wrong. Because then it was everything for the self. It was that selfishness. It was that materialism, right? It was the distractions from everything. It was like, oh no, it's got to be this and this. But when you start coming into union with yourself and you orient yourself in the God consciousness, then technically your I, right, it softens and then diminishes at some point when you've fully given in. Because yes, it is about you, but when you are connected with that silver cord, as the Bible states, then you will be in that consciousness, right? Which is a group consciousness. It's the God consciousness. It's the uplifted mental awareness, and awareness and knowledge. So, just think about that. I mean, the best thing is just try to ground yourself every day. Do a little meditation or a prayer. Just get yourself back down to normal, vibrations, not emotional, not, any uplifted or down feelings, right? Just try to level yourself out. And, you just need to do that every day so you can orient back to the self alignment. So, just some thoughts. So, I hope everybody has a good day and enjoys the rest of the day.